Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Dr. Mary Payton with All About STEM Radio. I come to y'all every Monday from 7 to 8 p.m. Central Time. Danielle, are you also playing this on your phone or computer or something? Because I'm getting feedback
You
somewhere.
get feedback? I'm not, no.
Okay, I don't know where it's coming from. But anyway, as if y'all don't know, I'm still teaching, so we're starting a little late every every Monday until time changes because normally I finish here at 2 o'clock. Now I'm not finishing until 2:15. And y'all, it is amazing. I am teaching in my classroom online, and I'm teaching a science class where I have about 86 kids, and they are amazing with logging in and doing work. I spent the whole weekend grading papers, and I'm also teaching STEM. So this block, I'm teaching HTML, and my students are amazing. They are enjoying it. And I think my next block with them, I have a special treat for them. We're going to work on a program called Elementary, which we're working with a engineer out of France who graduated from MIT. So, hey, y'all, that's going to be a lot of fun to allow my kids to work with someone like that. But if y'all don't know, I have an amazing lady online. She is a woman with a degree in physics. She is a STEM coordinator in DeSoto ISD, which she's going to kill me for saying that. I hope I'm saying the right school district. I met her when I was working with in Fort Worth and teaching biology slash chemistry, and she was one of our physics coordinators. The lady has went to like CERN and all this other stuff, and y'all believe it or not, she's awesome. So, and the other big thing that she is happy about being, she is a STEM mom. So that's one of her claim to fame. She's in our STEM mom. We call us ourselves STEM moms. But her name is Danielle Moore. Danielle, will you introduce yourself to my wonderful audience?
Oh, hi, wonderful audience. How's everyone doing? That was a beautiful introduction. Thank you so much. Every time I hear Dr. Mary introduce me, I just start glowing because she always just makes me smile. Um, how is it out there in Hawaii? How you enjoying teaching out there?
Girl, I am loving it. I mean, I miss physically being around. That's our bells. Hold on. Okay, now the period. So I miss physically being around my students because there's so much I would want to do with them, especially now that I'm teaching STEM. But, I'm just figuring out how to make it work. I don't get out and do some of the adventures that I want to do because things are closed because we have cases that are, increasing here. But anytime I can get out and walk and go hiking and stuff, I do that. And people around here are so nice. I get in trouble when I go hiking because I go by myself sometime. And the faculty here, I'll post the pictures of where I've been. And I'm Facebook friends with some of the people here, and they'll say, "Who did you go with?" I said, "I went by myself." And they're like, "You can't go by yourself. You may, you may have a heart attack and die, and they won't find your body." I'm like, "Oh, please." I make sure I don't do anything unless I see people around. I don't go anywhere if there's nobody around because I am a lady of a certain age. And so they're like, "Okay, we just want to make sure you're safe." But it's beautiful here. So
Oh,
how are things
nice.
back on the mainland?
On the mainland in the great state of Texas, I'm going to tell you, I am not that adventurous. My STEM adventures throughout this whole thing have been literally in my backyard. So we have literally been redesigning and coming up with ways to integrate STEM activities at home to keep from traveling. We usually travel a lot too,
I
and
know you do.
not to be able to do that right now, we had to figure out ways to kind of travel from home and travel within and create our own little STEM adventures. So it's been a transition. It's been a definite transition. And every time I see those, memories pop up and all of those things, we already have mapped out all the places we're going to go when the world opens back up again. So we are definitely planning our STEM adventures and also making some new adventures and memories at home, just kind of working through where we are and definitely getting to know each other a whole lot better throughout this time. But I appreciate you once again kind of having me on just to kind of talk about the things that I do, especially being a STEM mom and even now a new STEM grandmom. Literally, I have my baby, I think he's 3.5 months now. And so I just cannot wait to take him on his first STEM outdoor STEM adventure. We've had, of course, our indoor adventures, but just figuring out ways to just keep kids learning and actively engaged and just safe and happy during this time has been where I spend most of my time.
Well, I'm going to ask you this because you have children and grandchildren in different age groups. Because your oldest grandson, what is he, 4 now?
He will be 6. He will be 6 this coming September. He will be 6 years old. Time is passing by so.
That is too
And so
fast.
we have he literally started his first day of kindergarten a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
So in this, closed adventure, he's online. But, we had to give him that opportunity to, think it's school as usual. So we went in the car. He picked out his favorite breakfast because, STEM moms, sometimes we do things a little not conventional. And we drove and we got his breakfast and we came back home. And I said, now you ready to learn? And he was ready because it was just that bit of, I'm going to school. And just so he could know the difference. And now we're making a transition and shift from, summer where it was a lot more lax and, not as rigid routines. So, it's time again to begin our structured routines of learning. And so for him, beginning kindergarten this year online, again, as for all of our students, it appeared to me that, it's kind of challenging because he's like, oh, I have to log in. And, I just laugh and I marvel at him because if they don't call his hand, immediately when he puts his virtual hand up, he's having like all of these, I want, call me. And it is just so precious to see how a 5-year-old navigates this virtual learning and virtual world. And so, just being here to support that and to encourage the growth. And, this, he doesn't know it's a crisis or anything that's going on. He just knows this is the new way I learn and just making those things fun and exciting for him. So even when, he has his little brain breaks, he gets to choose what he wants to do. So on his brain breaks, if he wants to come down and, take a 5-minute break with his favorite show or his favorite toy, we give him those opportunities just to kind of, de-stress, come back, do something he enjoys doing. And then when that teacher starts dinging in and saying, it's time to come on back, he's scurrying because he understands that now it's time for me to go back to school. So just being a part of that, 5-year-old, I tell you, they start really early. I think even, for him, it wasn't so much as the technology because, all of our students now are just so savvy. We are, that part was really, really easy for him, but just making a transition, he's seeing his friends on camera and they're not right next to him or, not being able to, unmute himself whenever he wants to. Just having to, be in that routine. I mean, it is so precious to see that actually happening. And then also having the opportunity to support him in that learning and just, learning, soft skills like being patient,
Oh
being
yeah.
turn things, normally outside of this, worldwide pandemic, I may not have had a chance to do. And so just being able to see all of the bright spots of everything that we're going through, and
Oh
then supporting in ways in which I can, even with my own little ones. I think that is, one of the sunshiny spots of this whole thing, just being able to support with that.
Now, Danielle, I'm going to back up a little bit, but then I'm going to go back forward with teaching STEM and STEAM in this new environment. Give us a little bit about your background.
Well, as you mentioned in your wonderful, wonderful introduction, my background is indeed in physics. I have just completed my 22nd year as an educator, and so I'm, just kind of as I'm not in belief of how fast the time is really passing by. So 22 years as an educator in all science fields. And having a background in STEM and a passion for STEM. As you said, we met in Fort Worth, Texas. I just travel all over this metroplex. So in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Dallas is where, I taught for about 12 years and then spent some time in Fort Worth. And now, right here near and dear to home in DeSoto, Glen Heights, Texas. And so just kind of supporting the Metroplex and science education, beginning my career in Dallas, and then, just kind of supporting in the DFW area mainly with STEM education, but then also doing a lot of traveling to, do research and figure out the new and best strategies and ways to incorporate and enhance STEM and science education. And so during my 22 years, just learning all that I can, just being an educator in the sciences and STEM by doing things like, going to the Perimeter Institute of Physics, in Canada and various universities, Oak Ridge National Lab, just different places where I could learn from my peers and then continue to support in the educational arena. And so, just 22 years of fun and excitement, both on the job and at home and traveling and just incorporating everything into indeed a way of life. Everything we do. I told my 13-year-old, I say, well, just we're going to have fun because I have all of these STEM adventures and and they're looking at me like, okay, not all day, every day, Mom, because they know once I, get into just all of the ins and outs of STEM and education, it's something that I'm definitely passionate about. So, they know that summertime is over and, we are back into, our regular mode of just exploring and learning.
Yeah, it's gotten for real again.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
let's think about this. You've been in the field. Your degree is in physics. You have been that ultimate STEM mom for your career, and your career has been not only in the classroom teaching physics. You've also taught teachers how to teach. Now you're teaching a school district how to teach. What are some of the challenges in STEM that you're seeing with us being in home, virtual education, virtual schooling across the country, across the world?
And I think, and that's just a question that the challenge, in the virtual world is quite similar to the challenge that a lot of people have just when you say, science, or, more specifically, when people say physics, immediately, oh my God, I'm not good at that. That is just not something that I can do. But one of the things in the virtual world, that I encourage teachers and leaders and, students and everybody even to look at STEM is just things that is all everything, all encompassing. and, just kind of thinking outside of the normal traditional, box of what, people perceive science and STEM to be, like this rigid, field that is impossible for anybody to do, and just making the connections between the things that they like to do and then incorporating that into STEM. And I think once we, tap into what people love and enjoy, and then let them know that the connection to STEM and then how that could even transition into a career and or a way of life, I think a lot of the angst about STEM careers and professions and teaching with, this enhanced technology virtually will diminish. And so I think, and just especially for me, in my role and being a parent and just doing things, just getting people to see the natural connections in STEM, science, and technology. And I think once they do that, that is where, the barriers or the shields kind of, go away or come down, and they begin to embrace, the using technology more, or, using more the critical thinking more, because the barrier of I can't do it because this is physics. Well, I have so much fun teaching physics and, watching my athletes just excel because all the secrets. I used to tell them, things other people don't know. You better make sure you win the game. You know about your laws of motion. We already know. And wow, you're right. I'm like, yeah, I know I am. Let's get it. So just making sure that they can see the connections between the things that they love, that they, may not perceive as STEM careers or things like that. And once we make the connections and we break those barriers, then we give our students and our teachers and everybody in our community the agency to own the things that they love, and then also, not be afraid to be successful in it. I think one thing that I have always been, proud of is just to be able to say that I am a physicist and I am a brother and everybody's looking like, how do you do all of those things? And I'm like, you know what? A lot of times, or sometimes it may be trial and error. It's not perfect. Nobody is perfect science. And it's exactly what science is. We continue to try things and until we get it right. And so even combining all of those, things, I think once we do that, and then we show people how, easy it is to embrace, things such as, STEM careers, not just your traditional 4-year STEM careers. We have 2-year STEM careers. We have careers that don't require, any college at all, certificates and trades. Tapping into each and every aspect of what, STEM truly is. I think that, for me, is just, a part of the thing that I do consistently, and then, just to make it a part of, just so that we can continue to grow even through this worldwide situation.
And you're so right. And you're so right. A lot of our teachers are terrified that they can't do this online. The only thing they can do is only use online materials. But they got to understand, when you talk about science, and let's just keep it in the realm of physics, and you're trying to teach physical science, 6th grade physical science, and you're trying to teach open circuits and closed circuits. Now, teachers are like, well, how am I going to teach an open and a closed circuit? Okay, go tell your kids to turn the lights on and off. Mm-hmm. If they turn the lights on, they close the circuit, which means they close the loop. If they turned it off, they open the circuit and the lights go off because you've got a gap. That's simple. And it makes it relevant to the kids. Or if you take a box fan and put some ice in front of it, what happens to the air? It cools. Why does it cool? All of those things, can make it relevant. But, right now, some of our educators are a little fearful of not messing up. Lord knows, like I said, I've been teaching HTML for the past 2 weeks. And I have changed hairstyles a few times. I have put on a
Look,
few aliases. And
look. No, no comments, no comments, no comments, no comments. No, I truly, when I say I do understand, but that is something, and I think for our educators, we have always, and I'm speaking, for myself even, made the separation between, I'm going to work, this is this thing different, and then I'm at home, and this is different. But being able to make those relevant connections, that's going to be the thing that's most impactful and powerful, because we don't need a lot of things. All we need is what's in our surroundings. I can remember being at the University of Akron, and we looked at the physics of a flower, and I'm saying, how in the world did you talk me into doing this? But just looking at things that are natural and all around us, and then figuring out the connections, how they work, how can we make it better, how can we, that entire process of thinking and learning and then enhancing
yes,
what we know. If we, like I said, break those fear factors, and just go ahead and embrace it and do it, I think that is going to be a game changer. That's going to be our big win as far as this virtual world, teaching in a virtual world, supporting students in STEM and education, is just
yes,
by making the connections and making things, relevant, and even, tapping into, some of the students, like, what do they like, and what is relevant to them now, and meeting them with all of these things. I'm telling you, my own kids have taught me so many different things, and so many apps I have on my phone now, and I'm like, well, this is funny, you all are teaching me things I didn't know about science and technology and all of these things. But it's also a learning curve, and when we grow and we work and we learn together, it's a phenomenal impact, not only on our families, but our
hmm
educators and our communities. And so, just with all of the teachers that I have the privilege of working with, just working through those things together and continuing to support our students while we learn and grow.
yeah,
I think that's the most, impactful part for me, is just having such supportive teachers, and students who literally, know that we are in this work together and we support one another, through what it is we're doing. And so I think, that makes everything, educating in this virtual world, something that we have not done globally full time in K through 12, ever. I think that is what makes us, just kind of, prepared to do this, at this time, just having a phenomenal group of supporting, educators,
yeah.
which is why I'm so proud not only to be a physicist, but to be an educator, in the world, because we make such an impact on
Oh,
everybody
yeah.
when we work together. And
One of the things that I have learned during this whole ordeal, uh, and I used to tease people, said I had a problem with the F word, and the F word for me is focus. I have to focus, and I now this has taught me patience. It's taught me focus. If I had a kid, he mentioned online the other day, said, he told me, he goes, I don't like this class. And I said, baby, you only have me one semester. You'll be okay. He comes to class today. And do you know, I walked him through all his lessons. I mean, just like with the rest of the class. And he turned in his lesson, no problem. No problem. This is a kid that when we come online, he won't even turn his camera on. But I tell him, I said, I need your camera on for a millisecond. I don't have to see you. I could just see your closet doors. That's fine. But I just have to make sure that somebody is actually there. He turns it on, turns it off, and he's good.
mhm.
He's fine. But it's having patience and having to help these kids focus, because they will sit, when we first started, they would say, Miss, I can't do this. Miss, I don't know what you're talking about. And I would tell them, Tell me what you see. So, it's a huge, huge change, but I think it's a good change. I'm not
It
saying that this happened at a good time, but it couldn't have happened at a better time because I don't think our kids are going to lose a lot because of the technology. They can continue to go to school. They continue to get educated. And this is a good time for them to start looking at people in STEM fields or looking at STEM careers and things that they may want to change. So what do you think about that?
No, no, you're absolutely right. I think, and I always look at the glasses half full, and so I definitely agree with that. During this time, this is the time where we can excel and exceed. And so, I always think about just how impactful this time, even though nobody could have predicted and wanted to be here, but we
Mhm.
opportunity to enhance our technology integration, to individualize more for students. We really have to know about our students and what they need and what they desire so that we can make sure we differentiate in ways that is meaningful and impactful for them. And so I truly believe, just like you just said, that this will be a time that we will excel, and we will do much better, even when we go back to a traditional classroom setting, because
Yeah.
we have now, enhanced our technology game. And so we know how to differentiate and use technology. I just told someone, last week, I went to 13 meetings, and, I'm going real fast. I said, I can't travel this fast in the real world, but I'm able to literally do things in a way that we in the K-12 arena may not have considered previously. And so that is just, one way that we can definitely use this to, enhance where we are and where we want to go. And then another thing that you said is also using the opportunity to do more research for our students, parents, and families, our educators, on STEM careers, and how those STEM careers then can turn into a lifelong thing for our students. And so being able to be near to them more closely during the daytime, teaching from home and things like that, knowing exactly what they like, and then comparing that to STEM careers and helping to guide them in those choices, giving them the exposure to different career opportunities, albeit virtual at this time. But as a parent, being able to navigate and support them in ways
Mhm.
differently. I know, here in our school district last year, we implemented our very first STEM career and research fair. And we had all of
Yeah.
our students from pre-K all the way through our 12th grade students researching STEM careers that was meaningful and impactful for them. And they did those things within their families and their classrooms. And we displayed those at our STEM career, our STEM night that we had. And so we were able to embed that career research in STEM fields and directly into, our curricula, so that we can begin to enhance that support in STEM navigation beginning
Mhm.
at a very early age. And so I think if we continue to do, things like that, tie in the STEM career. So, I had a lot of friends, even myself. I initially started my undergraduate career in engineering.
Yeah.
I took a detour and came back, and I finished in physics. And so just having the opportunities earlier to research some of those things will, save us money to going to colleges, but it'll also prepare students to work in a field that they truly love and they have a passion for. If we started in pre-K, just kind of knowing what things are, well, you have a lot of time for trial and error. You can figure out, oh, this is what this career is. Well, I want to tailor it so we can know specifically by the time we get to middle and high school and begin to do, research on a local, regional, national, worldwide level. and then be able to make those choices quite easily when we get to
Yeah.
our undergraduate and then into our careers. And so just
And,
being able to do those things, earlier, having those conversations, at
mhm.
home, letting those things be natural occurrences and what we do within our own families, I think that is going to be a definite game changer for us because we're now, growing internally and being able to support our families and students in different ways with STEM as a culture and a way of life, even. And
Yeah.
I
And
think just
and
using these opportunities to do that.
and the opportunities are out there. I'm just thinking about one of the things that happened this week. There is a professor at one of our University of Hawaii campuses. He was working with middle school kids, just providing them data because the kids wanted to follow a satellite, a communication satellite. And it's a satellite that's been up there for probably 15, 20 years. And they were able to follow it. And now they're determining when it's going to come down into the Pacific because its time in our atmosphere is over. And you just think, you got middle school kids working with a college professor
Hmm.
doing numbers that he's like, I don't feel like doing. And they've made that partnership that you don't see. But then there's a show I try to catch every Sunday, STEM Media Live. It's a Instagram show, and I love Dr. Nehemiah Mabry. And just to see his guests, he has a plethora of STEM people of color in engineering, in mathematics, in physics, in environmental sciences. And I mean, it's just amazing that, our kids of every ethnic group need to understand, if there's something you want to do, get out there and do it. You know, that's what I loved about being in Fort Worth ISD. Every high school had a skill, had STEM fields that you could go into. A lot of our kids are gamers. And I asked them, I said, well, have you ever designed a game? And it doesn't have to be an electronic game. It could be something like a Rube Goldberg machine. And they're like, Miss, we can't do that. Why can't you?
Uh-huh.
You
Look,
got to deal with,
I
I can't.
Look, I had that exact same conversation 30 minutes ago with my 11-year-old, who he is a professional streamer right now.
You talking about my friend, my
Yeah,
buddy?
yes. So he has turned this the pandemic has turned him into a professional streamer, and we have those same conversations. Like, okay, how are we going to turn this into? Well, I think you need to, consider this. You want to design, and he's like, same thing. I don't think, and we will, and we do, and I think that is just, an impactful piece of, where we are right now, making those critical connections and then having those conversations, and then also having the opportunity, to help, students who never might ever consider what you're saying, being a game developer or a software developer, or things like just making those transitions and translations very, very early. And so I think that is just a wonderful, just having those opportunities just to connect with even more students. Yourself, you're all the way in Hawaii on the island, teaching kids about STEM and HTML and coding, and it is beautiful to be able to just impact, so many students on that level. So, definitely, I do appreciate you for always thinking about me, but just also being a STEM, role model for our kids and students all over the globe. So, just wanted.
And you talk about being a role model. You got kids that are engineers.
Look, and I do. I hope
And
my
why did that happen?
look. I'm telling you, I have all of my son is a Mr. Mechanical Engineer from Howard University. Is a engineer, and I love him to death. I text them all before our meeting. I say, hey, I need all of my STEM, and they're like, oh, mom, but they all have navigated and are young professionals in STEM careers. And so it is just a wonderful thing, even the one who didn't think she had a STEM career, showing her all those STEM connections with cosmetology and all
Yes.
things. And she's looking like, you can't be serious, right? And I'm like, actually I am. And so, just being able to just a part of as being an educator and, somebody with a love and desire for science and STEM, being able to see my own children successful in STEM careers, that's very rewarding for me. And so I continue to navigate them, but then also listen to the things that they like and enjoy and make those connections for them because, and I think this time has made it even more apparent that every single day we want to be a part of things that we love. And so for them to be able to develop careers out of things that they love is very, very important to me as a parent. And so I hope they will, call in, they're young adults and they have these careers and, they're moving fast, but we all stuck inside. So I'm like, where are you guys going? You can't do it right now. We are all stuck inside, but just learning to navigate through this new, different environment. It's just a different way right now, but we can just with the connections. I love how we all use all of our different video and media apps, and we can literally connect with people a lot further and a lot faster than we used to continue to support people all over. And so let me not forget, and I have one. So I have my young adults who are STEM professionals. I also have my 13-year-old was recognized as 20 under 20 in STEM. As we travel, and now that was a couple of years ago, and I'm saying we need to continue to tap into your side, but as we travel, she takes notes, she makes a lot of connections, and she comes up with she created her a very own self-serving tennis racket in her GT connections and classes. So everything that we do, they internalize it. And so being able to travel, that's also a way where, families and parents right now we're virtual. So we're, traveling in virtual land and making those connections. But
we can still do a lot.
We can still, yes.
We've got like 3 minutes left. I know this goes really fast because with the starting a little bit later, but I want you to give me 2 comments. One comment to teachers, one positive comment to STEM educators to help them, to make them feel they can get over this, and one comment to parents about making STEM important in their kids' life. I'm ready.
So did I say how much I love Dr. Mary? Indeed, my hero. Look, to every STEM educator across the world, and even here in the Metroplex, especially, which is where I am. For all of our STEM educators, just know that if we and when we work together as a team to ignite the passion of curiosity, of learning, of embracing change, we will come out of this thing that much better. And so I just want our educators to know that you have a STEM community. You reach out to people in the STEM community because we are all in this together, and we will learn and grow and work through this together as a STEM community. So please know that your work is very important during this time, and you are also supported by others who are going through this with you at the exact same time. So,
And what about parents?
yeah, yes, ma'am. And for our parents, as a parent, I'm a parent now, a grandparent in the work. Just listen to your students, make connections with your children, and then help them make the connections and bridge what they love to do to what they can do and be successful in and within life. And so just helping them to navigate that way through a lens of STEM, which encompasses all things, everything, will help to ensure that not only do they develop and grow and go to and through college, but their careers will be that much more impactful to them because it'll be something that they love and they've had the support of their parents to guide them along the way. So our parents, just know for everybody, look, I am in the work with you as a parent, as an educator, and it is a joyful experience. And so thank you so much, Dr. Mary, for having me on. I love being a STEM mom. I have embraced it. I'm going to get my bumper sticker that says STEM mom everywhere I go, just so people know that we can do both things simultaneously. And we can do them with a smile. So thank you so much, Dr. Mary, for having me.
You are so welcome. But you mentioned something, and Gary or Doug may start shooting me off in a minute. It's one thing that you mentioned earlier is we are a community. That's why I love doing the show, is because I embrace the world as a STEM community, not just in the Metroplex, not just on this island. As you know, I have guests from all over the world, and they have impacted and touched each other with their communication. And the way society is now, we can communicate globally. And, so that's made me happy. And I'm just so happy to have guests like yourself on the show. And, especially being a female and a female of color in physics, in hard science, is amazing. And you've been doing this for 25 years. I ain't going to say 30 because you're not that old. But
look. For a while.
For a while. But I want to thank you. Thank you for coming on the show. And to our wonderful STEM community, I am going to have another great guest from the Metroplex next week. My brain just forgot what Jason's last name was. He is a chef around the Metroplex. He has been on not Chopped, but Cutthroat Kitchen. He runs the culinary arts department at Skyline High School, which is one of the first premier STEM schools in the Dallas area. And I think it is the first premier STEM school in the Dallas area. So, until next week, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Dr. Mary, and I am embracing and connecting the STEM community all around the globe. And thank you, Danielle, for coming on today.
You're welcome.
Love you.
You're welcome. Love you.